welcome back to the channel. Today we got a question for you. So what if you took a familiar AR platform, chambered it a 9mm, and gave it a 32 round Colt-pattern magazine, and built it into a pistol caliber carbine that's basically ready to go right out of the box? Well, that's exactly what Springfield Armory did with this. So this is going to be the Springfield Armory SAINT Victor 9mm that we got. So today we're going to take a full look at this rifle. We're going to go over the specs, features, what I like, what I don't like, and ultimately answer if the SAINT Victor 9mm is actually going to be worth the money. So let's get into it. And again, welcome back to the Armory. If you're new here, we can do firearm reviews, gear reviews, firearm education, and a lot more. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out our website. Now let's take a look at the SAINT Victor. The cool thing is it comes with a little patch for the SAINT Victor patch. It comes with this actual pretty nice case. Obviously it's just gonna be fabric, but it's definitely gonna work for range use. Inside our different magazine pockets, first we just got our lock, Springfield Armory logo on there. It's not too bad, not too bad. Most firearms come with those nowadays. Next in here, we're gonna get that 32 round magazine we talked about earlier. Again, it's gonna be that Colt-pattern 9mm 32 rounds. Let's actually look at the SAINT Victor. Right on top, this is just gonna be a bunch of user manuals, discounts, stickers, stuff like that. And now we have the actual beauty. So right out of the box, this thing looks really good. If you've handled anything from Springfield SAINT Victor lineup before, the overall design is gonna feel very familiar. It's nice that it comes with these little loops to keep it in place. Again, you have that AR style platform. You're gonna have that full length free float handguard, M-lock slots, flip up sights. However, the flip up sights obviously aren't gonna be included with it. That's something you can get. I recommend like Magpul's a good company for flip up sights. And you're gonna have that 5 systems furniture. Looking at the barrel length, it's about a 5.5-inch barrel. And again, if you go down the magazine well, you're gonna see the biggest difference too that we got here. So the thing is actually chambered in 9mm. And again, it feeds with those Colt-pattern magazines. And I'll say it right away, I actually really like the look of that Colt-pattern magazine with the gun. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna ask why it doesn't take Glock mags, which I understand. Glock mags are everywhere. They're cheap, reliable. A lot of people own them. But visually, the Colt-pattern magazines look absolutely awesome with this. Again, they gave that rifle that classic submachine gun look. And Springfield didn't just throw a magazine adapter into standard AR lower. This is actually built just for the 9mm. So dedicated 9mm lower receiver is super nice, and really it's just the right way to build it. Let's quickly run through the specs. So obviously the rifle is going to be chambered in 9mm. You're going to have that 16-inch chrome moly vanadium barrel with a melanite finish on it. The barrel has a 1-in-10 twist rate and a half by a 28 thread pattern. The upper and lower receivers are forged with 7075 T6 aluminum with that Type 3 hard coat anodized finish. The rifle uses a direct blowback operating system like most AR platforms. And then you're gonna have that full length aluminum free float handguard with your different M-lock. It also includes this little rubber thing here for like to keep the screws safe, but you'll have your M-lock on there as well, on the bottom, on the side, M-lock all the way around. Then obviously the Picatinny on top. And then again, for the furniture, you're gonna have that B5 Systems Bravo stock, as well as that pistol grip, which actually has a really nice grip on it. Your trigger is gonna be a nickel boron coated flat trigger. You can kind of see it up close, that flat trigger. So again, what we'll do, it comes with that chamber flag, but we'll lock this back, take the chamber flag out. We can see nothing's in there, no magazine in, making sure that we're safe. But so testing out that trigger, put it on fire. What's cool too is it's only a 45-degree safety selector. So instead of going all the way up to 90, just 45. That trigger feels nice. We'll hear it one more time. That's a super smooth trigger. The other thing also about the safety as well is it is ambidextrous. So you can use it if you're a lefty or a righty. So we'll use it as a righty. You can switch it around and use it as a lefty. I think it's really nice that it is that 45-degree cant as well instead of that full 90. Like we said, the rifle ships with that 132 round Colt-pattern magazine. Overall length is adjustable from 31.75 inches to 35 inches. It just depends on how far you have that buttstock is adjustable. One spec that I definitely want to point out is going to be the weight. The Springfield Armory SAINT Victor 9mm weighs 6 pounds and 15 ounces. So it is super nice. You can just throw this thing around. Super nice. So basically it's just right under 7 pounds. So when you pick this rifle up, that weight feels pretty appropriate. Obviously it's not going to be ultra light, but I would not call this thing overly heavy. The weight gives the rifle a solid, substantial feeling without making it feel like you're carrying around a brick. And for a 16-inch pistol caliber carbine, I think Springfield found a pretty good middle ground here. So again, we're going to cover it again, but one of the biggest features of this rifle is going to be that dedicated 9mm lower. Again, Springfield didn't use a standard AR-15 lower with some type of magwell adapter. This receiver was designed specifically around the 9mm cartridge and that Colt-pattern magazine. And I really like that. For me, if I'm buying a dedicated pistol caliber carbine, I would rather have the entire platform designed around that cartridge. The magazine fits directly into the lower. You don't have an adapter sitting inside the mag well. The entire gun just feels like purpose-built. Downside, obviously, magazine compatibility. If you already have a pile of Glock mags sitting at home, they're not going to work. You're going to need those Colt-pattern 9mm magazines. Whether it's a deal breaker is really up to you. Personally, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. It's definitely something you need to know before buying. Again, the St. Victor 9mm uses that direct blowback operating system. Direct blowback, extremely simple. There's no traditional AR-15 gas system operating. Instead, the system relies on the mass of the bolt and the spring system to keep everything operating. The benefit, it's just simple. You have fewer components involved in the operating system, and direct blowback has been used in 9mm platforms for a very long time. Now here's something I think people sometimes get wrong with 9mm carbines. They assume that because it's a 9mm, they're basically going to be zero recoil. Not necessarily true. Direct blowback can actually have a little more movement than some people expect. You have a fairly heavy bolt moving back and forth inside the rifle. Is recoil bad? Absolutely not. It's still a 9mm. But if you're expecting this thing to literally not move at all, it's not very realistic. That being said, the way the rifle and the overall design make it extremely controllable. Follow-up shots are easy. Rifle stays on target. And overall, just a very easy platform to shoot. So again, moving towards the front of the rifle, Springfield gives you a full-length aluminum free-float handguard. Plenty of M-lock space for accessories. So if you want to add a weapon-mounted light, hand stop, vertical grip, where legally configured and appropriate, obviously, for other accessories, you have plenty of mounting space. You also have a full-length Picatinny rail across the top, so mounting optics extremely simple. Personally, I think a good red dot makes the most sense on a rifle like this. Again, it's going to be a 9mm pistol caliber. So I'm not going to put some massive magnified optic on here and try to shoot 300, 500 yards. Just give me a quality red dot, get it zero, this thing's ready to go. I would always put flip-up sights on here just as a backup. You can literally put this rifle out of the case and have that functioning sighting system once you get the flip-up sights and everything. So again, with the B5 Systems furniture, you have the B5 Systems Bravo stock and the Type 23 pistol grip. And honestly, I'm kind of a fan of this. The grip on the actual pistol grip is really nice. It's very quality. You feel like when my hand fits really well on the grip. I'm not going to be moving around, especially when firing this thing. Same with the actual stock. Obviously, we know that how to use it properly. You're technically not supposed to use it as a stock. So I'll show you guys how you're actually supposed to use it again. So you want to take this Velcro off. Your hand is actually going to go in here since it's a pistol brace, technically. And then you're just going to tighten that Velcro down like so. And that's your pistol brace when you're shooting it. Again, it's not supposed to be used as a stock, obviously, since it's less than 16 inches. And technically is a pistol and not a rifle. So if you did put a stock on it, it would be considered like an SBR, short barrel rifle. Again, the stock feels very solid, multiple adjustment positions that you can set it to. And overall, ergonomics very comfortable. Pistol grip also has that more vertical angle, you can tell, compared to some traditional AR grips. Instead of more canted, it's more of a vertical grip. So for a rifle like this, I think it works very well, especially if you're doing a lot of close range shooting. Overall, don't really have a lot of complaints about the furniture. Springfield could have thrown some generic stock and grip on here, but instead you're getting quality furniture right from the factory of it. Going back to the trigger, the St. Victor 9mm comes with that nickel boron coated flat trigger. This is another area where Springfield gives you something slightly nicer than a completely basic mil-spec setup. I like the flat triggers. Obviously, trigger preference is extremely subjective. Some people love flat triggers. Some people want that traditional curved trigger. Personally, I like the consistent finger placement that I get from a flat trigger, but it's designed to be shot quickly, and I think the trigger works well. Now, is this some 2-pound competition trigger? Obviously not. It's not supposed to be. But for a factory, the trigger is completely usable. I don't feel like you need to immediately pull the trigger out and replace it. You are doing competition or something like that, but you can always upgrade down the road if you want to. Right out of the box, I think most people are going to be completely happy with it. And again, we know we mentioned it, but the ambidextrous safety, super nice feature. Again, these are just little features that start separating the St. Victor from some other cheaper options out there. So if you're a left-hand shooter, obviously it's going to be beneficial for you as you can use it with your left hand on both sides. But even for right-hand shooters, having ambidextrous controls can be useful. Obviously, if we are using this for home defense, something like that, and you end up going down or your right hand goes down, you can transition over to your left. So very useful. Rifle keeps that familiar AR style manual of arms here. So if you already trained with an AR-15, transitioning to the St. Victor is going to be really easy. Grip's familiar, your safety manipulation's familiar, and even easier with that 45-degree cant. Charging handle is going to be familiar, optic placement's familiar. And that's honestly one of the biggest advantages of having that AR style. You can shoot the cheaper 9mm while maintaining a very similar platform to your standard AR. So really, who's this going to be for? So first, I think it's an awesome range gun. 9mm is generally easier, more affordable to shoot than a lot of rifle calibers. Really, they're just fun. There's no other way to say it. Load up your 32-round mag, throw a red dot, shoot some steel. Extremely enjoyable platform. I also think it could be a great option for someone who wants to introduce a newer shooter to the platform, especially to the AR platform. Controls are familiar, recoil is going to be manageable, rifle's easy to operate, and you're shooting 9mm. I also think there's that training benefit. If your primary rifle is an AR-15, you can use this to work on certain fundamentals while shooting 9mm. Obviously, you need to understand the capabilities and limitations of the cartridge versus different rifle rounds. So again, this is the role of that pistol caliber carbine. Makes a lot of sense if this is something what you're looking for. So what do I like about it? Number one, quality. The rifle is built solid, upper and lower fits nicely together. The entire gun really feels quality. You can tell that Springfield really took their time with this. Number two, love that dedicated 9mm lower. Love its purpose-built platform. Springfield designed this rifle around the 9mm and Colt-pattern magazines. Number three is going to be the furniture. You get a really nice grip on here. You get a really nice stock pistol brace, obviously. And they just make quality components. You're not going to need to be in a rush to replace it. Number four, that handguard. You have plenty of M-lock space. Grip it very easily. And obviously, you're not going to need to replace that, as well as you get that full-length top rail for optics. So mounting that red dot, light, other accessories is going to be extremely easy. And then it's controllable, it's quick, and it's fun. Now, let's talk about some of the negatives. I know we just said a lot of positives, but obviously it's going to have some negatives. Biggest one for me probably is not taking Glock mags. So if you already have like your 10 or 15 Glock mags, you're going to have to buy completely different magazines for this. Now, I like the Colt-pattern magazines. I think it fits great in here, but obviously some Glock compatibility would have been appreciated. The second, not really issue, but something to note is just the price. So the MSRP on this rifle is around $1,300. Obviously, MAP pricing and advertised pricing you're going to find is going to be in between like $1,000 to $1,100. It just depends on your FFL or your store and who you're buying it from. So obviously, it's not a cheap rifle that you're getting, but if it's something where you're looking for, obviously it's purpose-driven. It's going to go well for you. Again, you're paying for that forged receivers, you're getting the B5 furniture, you're getting that dedicated lower, the free float handguard, the flat trigger. So a lot of it's already upgraded and well set. Obviously, it's not the cheapest 9mm out there. So what do I think about the Springfield Armory SAINT Victor? Overall, I think it's great. Love the 9mm lower, the magazines, the B5 furniture, handguard, plenty of mounting space, the flat trigger so nice. And then again, at 6 pounds, 15 ounces, it's got enough weight to feel solid without feeling heavy. Again, that biggest question is going to be the price, as there's other cheaper options out there. If that Glock magazine compatibility is extremely important to you, probably not going to be the pistol for you. But if you want a purpose-built AR-style 9mm that comes well-equipped from the factory, I think it's definitely going to be worth taking a look at. And before we get into our outro, we'll just show you how to break it down. So again, it's going to be similar to any AR-15 style platform. I always usually start with the rear pin. We take that rear pin, break it down shotgun style like so. We're going to go up here with our charging handle, push the little button to get it all to come out. Like so. Our bolt comes out. I'm not going to take it out because it's still actually pretty lubricated in here, but we got our bolt. You take your charging handle out and it's broken down. That's pretty much all you need to break it down to clean it. If you want to break it down further, you can take all the charging handle and stuff out, take this front pin out, break it down to your main 4 sections. That's really all you need to do to clean it. You don't really need to break your bolt down, especially if you're newer. Would you run the Colt-pattern magazines? Let us know what you think and let us know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Plenty more firearm and gear reviews coming, a lot of training videos coming. As always, check us out at our website. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.